They are knowing herself by her own termless self. Wisdom supernal. Supernal, heavenly, celestial, transcendental, great. Worldless, absolute. Sat uncompanioned with eternal calm. Sat uncompanioned with eternal calm. Wisdom sat uncompanioned. Now you see here you have got wisdom as the main noun. First adjective is termless self. Second adjective is supernal. Third adjective is wordless. Fourth adjective is absolute. See, is piling up on wisdom itself. All this. And then she sat uncompanioned. She is alone. She doesn't need any companion at all. She is pradnya. She is alone by herself. Pradnya. The eternal calm, in the eternal calm, unmanifest. She is there permanently, always like that. It's eternal calm, absolute. Sat uncompanioned in the eternal calm, all seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone. Sovereign and alone. Sat uncompanioned. Now who sat uncompanioned? Wisdom. Now all seeing, who is all seeing? Who is motionless? Who is sovereign? Who is alone? Pardon me? Now, is it for wisdom or for the calm? Wisdom, supernal, wordless, absolute, sat uncompanioned in the eternal calm. She sat, means the calm is all-seeing, the calm is motionless, the calm is sovereign, the calm is alone.
There is comma after the calm.
Yeah. So it should be wisdom. It should be wisdom. Yeah. No, but you see, you can't write this adjective without comma. If you had to write only for the calm, eternal calm, all seeing. You see, forget about this part of the sentence. Forget about this part of it. And now see only this one. Eternal calm, all seeing. Yeah, the comma is admissible. The comma is admissible for calm.
Also possible. So which one we will?
How does this translate?
Here there is no comma after calm.
A calm.
He didn't put comma after the calm.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So after he said all seeing, we don't know who.
So no. How does it translate? These four adjectives are for wisdom or for calm. No, but how does he translate? He keeps hanging.
Translate it like this.
No, he
In
also
the
keeps
French,
hanging.
You don't know which one is saying. Understand? It's like
Okay.
this.
Now, see, comma is required for this part of the sentence alone. See, so that comma, because there is a comma, you cannot link it up with wisdom necessarily.
I would say the opposite.
See, you cannot necessarily link up this thing with wisdom.
When you are speaking about wisdom, supernal, wordless,
See,
absolute, and you want to continue the adjective of wisdom,
yeah.
I think we should put comma after calm. Otherwise, we can think that the whole seeing is calm.
Yeah, no, but purely from a grammatical point of view, we are saying purely from a grammatical point of view, comma is necessary even if you have only this part of the phrase. Comma is necessary only for this part of the phrase. Therefore, you can't link up this comma with wisdom essentially, you see. So, whether these four adjectives are for calm or for wisdom, we'll have to use some other criterion. Meaning, no, because he says motionless. Motionless gives a clue that, well, all these four adjectives are for wisdom. Calm, motionless is not a very felicitous phrase, is not a proper phrase. calm, motionless. See?
Calm and motionless, it's
Calm is calm. It is assumed. It is without any activity, without motion. Calm. Sovereign and alone.
What about Sat?
Huh?
What about Sat?
No, sat uncompanioned. That is wisdom. Wisdom sat uncompanioned. Wisdom sat uncompanioned. Wisdom sat uncompanioned. Wisdom sat uncompanioned. Now, I will say that perhaps these four adjectives, although there is emotionlessness here, these four adjectives go for calm. I will go. Because he is talking of eternal calm. Sovereignty, alone. I think we'll meditate on it again and then think later on once more whether these all-seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone. But it's a very beautiful line. All-seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone. See, it keeps on kind of vibrating, expanding, moving on. That line is and in the eternal calm, all-seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone. And the beauty of the line is such that you say, for instance, if I don't have this and put a comma there after sovereign, all-seeing, motionless, sovereign, alone, it can stand metrically. It can stand metrically. It can stand by meaning also, but something is lost in the rhythm. Something is lost in the movement. That and is very, very important here. All-seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone, sovereign and alone.
I found he translates because in French you have female and male, so I found it. For him, seeing two without movement and sovereign, it's female like the wisdom, because the calm it's masculine. Yeah. So for him, all seeing, motionless, sovereign, alone is the wisdom.
For the calm?
No.
For wisdom? Well, that is. I think we'll have to still ponder on that. You see, because see, eternal calm. He is describing the quality of the eternal calm, and in that greatness of that calm, which is all-seeing, which is motionless, which is sovereign, which is alone, she is sitting uncompanioned. What do you say? What do you say? Yeah, okay. No, Molinari. She's the expert in English.
There is one detail.
I will tend to link up this thing.
He spoke about the wisdom, just one line, and after he jumped to speak about the calm, and for me, all the paragraph should be about the wisdom. If you want to find a logic meaning.
See, you can consider it like this also, for the sake of argument. For a minute, don't read this line at all. There, knowing herself by her own termless self, sat and companioned with eternal calm, all-seeing, motionless, sovereign, alone, wisdom supernal, wordless, absolute. I am taking that line as the fourth line. Instead of making a second line, we can take it as the fourth line also. You see. Now, if you read it like that, then what happens? Then all these adjectives get piled up. These four adjectives get piled up for calm. There, knowing herself by her own termless self. See, wisdom. All right. Now, how many adjectives are for wisdom here? Termless, supernal, wordless, absolute. 4 already. You don't want to pile 4 more adjectives for alone, for wisdom. See, you, you don't want to heap more adjectives on wisdom, you see. So, that will be kind of bad poetry also. What do you say? I will plead for calm, at least for today. Yeah. Their knowledge needs not words to embody idea. Idea seeking a house and boundlessness, weary of its homeless immortality, asks not in thoughts God brilliant settled to rest. See, here we are talking of knowledge. Earlier we were talking of knowing. A little earlier than that, all was known. So you have got all the 3 states: known, knowing, knowledge. So that's the beauty of poetry, you see. He has described about the known aspects of things, then he is talking of knowing, then he is talking of knowledge. And all is known by the light of identity, known, cognition. And then you got knowing, the act of knowing, of getting knowledge of things. And then comes knowledge, you see, after that. So, the poet is very systematic also in presenting his theme, going step by step. I mean, the logicality of the whole thing is absolutely fine, you see, very beautiful line, you see. All seeing. Now, by the way, all seeing, motionless, sovereign, alone. If you read these 4 lines, they are knowing herself by her own termless self, wisdom supernal, wordless, absolute, sat and companion with eternal calm, all seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone. Do you see a difference in the rhythm of this line and the other 3 lines? Do you feel a difference? They are knowing herself by her own termless self, wisdom supernal, wordless, absolute, sat and companion with eternal calm, all seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone. This line kind of goes on and on and on. It has a mantric power. It has a different status than the other 3 lines, you see. It flows like a mantra. All seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone. And the beauty of this line is that these words have to be exactly the same order. You can't have all seeing, alone, motionless and sovereign. You can't have that, you see. You can't have all seeing, alone, motionless and sovereign. You don't do. It has to, the right word in the right place. Just. Right word in the right place. All seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone. And the rhythm is of course there. The unity of the line or that rhythm is by this N alliteration. Motionless, sovereign, alone. See that repetition of N gives you kind of a unity of the whole thing also. That is very important also. All seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone. Actually, we'll see one more passage later on. Let us see that again here. We'll come back again to this line. 6.61. Across a wide retreating sky he glimpsed He, of course, Yogi, Ashwapati. Across a wide retreating sky he gleamed. Through a last glimmer and drift of vanishing stars, the superconscious realms of motionless peace. Again, motionless peace, you see. The superconscious realms of motionless peace, where judgment ceases and the world is mute. You can't utter anything, you can't describe anything at all about that, you see. The superconscious realms of motionless peace, where judgment ceases and the world is mute, and the unconceived lies pathless and alone. Again, that alone. It's such a powerful effect here, you see, alone. See. Where judgment ceases and the world is mute. Means you can't describe anything at all. Any description you make of that fails to describe it, falls short of what it is. Therefore, the word is mute in that sense. Word is describing, is talking too much perhaps, but it is not able to catch what that absolute is, you see. Where judgment ceases, you can't make any judgment at all. And the word is mute, and the unconceived, you can't conceive of it at all. The absolute, the unknowable, lies pathless and alone. There is no path at all to go there, alone of his own, the absolute himself. Now this is, again, these three lines, across a wide retreating sky he gleamed. Sky, above sky he is going, and the skies are retreating behind. Through a last glimmer and drift of vanishing star to the stars, everything has gone in the sky. The superconscious realms of motionless peace, where judgment ceases and the world is mute. These three lines you can see again, the quality of poetry is totally different here. This pure, absolute mantra. Here you got pure, absolute mantra, you see. The superconscious realms of motionless peace, where judgment ceases and the world is mute, and the unconceived lies pathless and alone. See, that alone in the end has a very powerful effect, you see. Again. And no other word will do here. As far as the poet is concerned, you can have only, you see, only will not do it all. It has to be alone. And unconceived lies, pathless. This is absolute mantric. If you want to see pure mantra in Savitri, this is one of the best examples of mantra. The previous one also are there, but it is more powerful than that. Now, in that context, I am going to read a poem by an English disciple of Sri Aurobindo, who was in the ashram in the 1930s. He was a philosopher. He was in search of the truth. He went around here and there in all parts of India. And then finally he met somebody and he was directed to go to Sri Aurobindo ashram. Around 1930 or so, he came and joined the ashram. And he lived in the ashram till the end of his life. He passed away a little early, in 1941 or so. So during that period, he was a philosopher and very well learned person also, very deep person. When he came to the ashram, suddenly the poet in him burst out, opened out. He started writing poems, poetry. And in the 1930s, he had written a large number of poems. Arjava, his actual name is John Chadwick. Sri Aurobindo had given him the name Arjava, Chadwick. So Sri Aurobindo, he used to write poetry and then he used to send those poems to Sri Aurobindo. In those days, Sri Aurobindo had opened a department, the Department of Poetry. And in the Department of Poetry, number of poets flourished. Not only in English, but in other languages also, in Bengali, in other languages also. because Shivandu was also trying to carry out an experiment. How far the higher types of inspiration can be brought into poetry. And therefore he opened out that thing. He used to write extensively to all these people who used to send their poems. He used to write comments, give remarks, say this thing, modify, like that. A number of poems were written by Arjuva at that time, and Shivandu had commented on them. Now I am going to read one of his poems, one of the most beautiful poems of Arjuva, and Shivandu admired it very highly, that poem. The poem is entitled Moksha. As one who saunters on the sea banks of a wilderness of day, as one who saunters on the sea banks in a wilderness of day, in the wilderness of day, what is one sauntering? Is dazzled by the sunshot march and rippling counterchain of waving and an eager hood of quivering wings that rain, grey on the sky's rim, white on the foam pathway, grey on the sky's rim, white on the foam pathway on the ocean. Each man is wildered myriadly by outside and surface tone. Each man is wildered myriadly by outside and surface tone, engirdling soul with glamour by his fragmentary mood. He is engirdling his soul with glamour by this fragmentary mood. This patter of time, marring steps across the solitude, patter of time, marring steps across the solitude of truth's abidingness, self-blissful and alone. Each man is wildered myriadly by outside and surface tone, engirdling soul with glamour by his fragmentary tone. This patter of time's marring stem across the solitude or truth's abidingness, self-blissful and alone. But when eastward streaming shadows bring the hush of eventide, the wave-lapped sun can feel again his glory of hence going, and furnished by his low light vast dreams of heaven knowing, a golden way to the one where beauty's archives hide. Now, this is a poem with 3 stanzas, but you can see the difference between the first and the third and the middle stanza. Middle stanza is absolutely beautiful. Each man is wildered myriadly by outside and surface tone, engirdling soul with glamour by this fragmentary mood. This patter of time's marring stem across the solitude of truth's abiding them, self-blissful and alone. Shivandu calls this mantrik line. These 3 lines, this particular stanza, mantrik line. I got a comment of this one. Comment is written by Amal Kiran in his notebook. Actually, this copy of Arjuva's poem belongs to Amal Kiran. So, it is in my possession. And Amal Kiran has copied down Shivandu's comments below each poem. Shivandu's comments. Now, Amal writes, by the way, this poem was written on August 25, 1933. See, within a couple of years after joining the ashram, see his writer. 1933. I have not been able to trace the comment in the correspondence of Shivandu with Arjuva. He has not been able to trace where that original paper is. But I remember that Shivandu praised the poem very highly and remarked about lines 7 and 8. 7 and 8. This patter of times marring steps across the solitude of truth abiding them, self-blissful and alone, these 2 lines. 7 and 8, that they had come perfect from some of the highest levels of inspiration. Highest levels of inspiration, they are coming perfect. Perfect. Afterwards, he wrote to me, to Amal, Sri Aurobindo wrote to Amal, that they originated in illumined mind. Sri Aurobindo grades the different sources of inspiration. After the spiritual mind, in the spiritual mind, after the mental, the first is the higher mind, then the illumined mind, then the intuition, then the overmind. These are the levels of spiritual mind, and the inspiration can come from any one of these planes. So he says, illumined mind with an intuitive element and a strong overmind touch. Sri Aurobindo is writing about this poem that it has a very strong overmind. Now a poetry coming from overmind is pure mantra. The entire poetry of Rig Veda is more or less coming from those planes. There are exceptional lines which are coming straight from the overmind in the Rig Veda particularly. See. Now he says this is the line coming from the mantric plane. You see. Illumined mind with an intuitive element and a strong overmind touch. This was written by Sri Aurobindo to Amal Kiran on 7th March 1934. These lines can be considered what Sri Aurobindo regarded as mantra in the spiritual sense. So this alone is a very powerful word, you see, in this sense. It is that which really gives the entire effect. And the unconceived lies, pathless and alone. It is, Sri Aurobindo has definitely remembered, while writing this line, Sri Aurobindo has definitely remembered Arjava's lines. Unconceived, which is pathless and alone. The phrases are reflective of that, what Arjava has written. So Sri Aurobindo has remembered the line, and it is coming. Where judgment ceases and the word is mute, and the unconceived lies pathless and alone. So let us go back to our first alone. There, knowing herself by her own termless self, wisdom supernal, wordless, absolute, Saturn companion in the eternal calm, all-seeing, motionless, sovereign and alone. See, it has the same rhythm, what you are saying.